welcome back to my channel, and today is our very first true crime and makeup video. You can thank the incredible Bailey Sarian for the idea of this video. Her channel will be linked in the description box down below. She does this type of video, so if you want to check out more true crime videos, please go to her channel. Her channel will be linked in the description box down below. So this case we're doing today has probably been one of the very first cases I ever came across and intrigued me so much. It is about 13-year-old Nicholas Barclay. In this case, wow, first of all, it is about a missing child, so viewers' discretion is advised if that is a trigger for you. And also it has this big turning point in the case, a roller coaster ride that just had me so for a loop that I knew if I ever did true crime videos, this would be the first case I did. So I'm going to sit and do my makeup for Halloween. You guys have already seen that video from me, so I'm not going to really tell you much about what I'm doing. I'm just going to tell you about the case. So with that said, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications of when I upload, and let's start talking about this case. So first we are going to put on these little Mickey ears to get my hair out of my face, and they're gonna stick up, so don't mind that. And if you see me looking down, it's because my mirror is right below you guys. So let's talk a little bit about Nicholas Barclay. He was born December 31st, 1980. His mother's name is Beverly Dollarhide, and he has two older siblings. His sister's name is Casey, and he has an older brother named Jason, and they all live in San Antonio, Texas. Now, Nicholas was kind of known as being a little bit of a troublemaker and sort of verbally abusive towards his mother. And they would get the cops called on them, especially from their neighbors, because their screaming and yelling would be so loud that their neighbors would get involved. Nicholas had a little bit of a juvie record for threatening teachers, stealing and breaking into buildings. He also had 3 tattoos, even though he was under the age. He had the letter J on his left shoulder, the letters L and N on his ankle, and the letter T on his left hand. He disappeared June 13th, 1994, when he was only 13 years old. And he was out with his friends after school playing on the basketball courts when he called his mother to come pick him up. But his brother Jason answered the phone. His mother works a night shift, so she sleeps during the day, and his brother refused to wake her up and also refused himself to go pick up Nicholas. So he told him to walk home. And this is when Nicholas went missing, between the walk from the basketball courts to his home. The cops, when they were called to the fact that Nicholas went missing, they didn't take it seriously, and this, when I hear this, upsets me, because we should always take stuff like this seriously. Now, the reason they didn't take it seriously is because Nicholas has run away from home before, but he always has come back. And they also believe, because of his reputation and the fact that He had court the next day to decide whether or not he stays home or goes to kind of like a rehab group home, that he ran away because he didn't want to face up to what he had done. So they really didn't take it seriously at all. But eventually, when they realized he didn't and wasn't coming home, they started an investigation. He was last seen wearing a white shirt, purple pants, and a pink book bag that day that he went missing. And at one point, Jason actually had stated to the police that, well, he called the police, I should say, one night and said that Nicholas had broken into their garage. And when the cops came, they looked around and found no evidence to back this up, no evidence of any breaking or entering into their garage, no evidence of Nicholas even being there. So it kind of puzzled the police on why Jason would even do this, why he would call the police and make this sort of accusation up. So this is when the story gets interesting, right? So 3 years later, San Antonio, Texas gets a call from Linares, I think is how you pronounce it, Spain, saying that they had found Nicholas, that he had been kidnapped and taken into a sex ring, that he had undergone a lot of different experiments by European military, but he had managed to he had also stated that he had been forced to only speak French. But that didn't matter to the family. Of course, they're going to hear that their son was found. So they rushed over to Spain immediately. His sister got on the flight and went and head straight over to Spain. He feared that Nicholas feared that he wouldn't be recognized. His family did have to ID him as Nicholas. He wore a baseball cap and sunglasses, but Casey did go and identify him as Nicholas. And they sat for hours looking at pictures, identifying who everybody was. And she kind of did this thing where she would say, do you know who this is? Remember, this is so-and-so, right? And Nicholas kind of had this issue with memory, almost like he kind of lost his past memory of people, family, and his old life. But they brought him home and everything was so perfect. So when he was brought home, the police in Texas said that in order for him to pretty much be here and to accept that he is who he says he is, because he was found in some place other than America, he would have to identify people in a picture he hasn't seen before, just to make sure he is who he says he is. Just precaution. So he did this, and he identified everybody in the picture but one. And the police were satisfied with that. I mean, would you question that? But you should, because this wasn't Nicholas. Right here, I will put in an image of what Nicholas looks like. And now I'll show you what the Nicholas they brought home looks like. Nicholas is like this cute little blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy, but the Nicholas they brought home was a bleach blonde, brown-haired, brown-eyed kind of man, right? And people started questioning who this person is, because this doesn't look like Nicholas. Some of the things they questioned not only was his eye color, but was how he would have even gotten to Spain without a passport, which are some very good questions. So a PI ended up getting involved to figure out if this truly is Nicholas. And this PI, his name was Charlie Parker. So let me introduce you to the imposter. Meet 23-year-old Frederick Bordeaux. He is a French citizen who has over 500 different identities, who blames his childhood and lack of love as the reason to why he pretends to be other people and goes into homes and pretends to be younger than he really is. So he was found out by not his fingerprints, but by his ears, which is really cool to me, actually, that your ears are just as unique, I think is a good word for it, as your fingerprints. So you can identify somebody if they're not really them, or if they really are them, by fingerprints or their ears. Sorry, it's really hard to do your eyes when you are talking. So I don't get how this whole thing happened, right? How are you gonna go over there and say this is your brother when they look nothing alike? Hello, me from the future. I forgot to add in a part. So when he got found out by his ears, and he was unwilling, like I say further into the video, was willing to give up his fingerprints or blood, they found a new way to identify who he was, that he wasn't who he seemed, and figured out he wasn't Nicholas. Well, after that, the family just kept insisting that this is Nicholas, this is Nicholas. Well, no, it's Frederick Bordeaux. And then when the news came out that it wasn't Frederick had some things to say about the family. The family knew this wasn't Nicholas, according to the imposter. So the imposter says that they knew all along that he wasn't Nicholas and that they just wanted him to be. And the reason why he says that is, if you remember earlier, I was telling you that he was saying that the family was all like, this is so-and-so, remember? Remember, this is so-and-so, remember? Like, she was, Carrie was almost like drilling into his head who each family member was. And that is kind of suspicious. That's kind of sus in my book. I don't know about yours, but it's kind of sus in my book. Let's talk a little bit more about Frederick Bordeaux. So what he did was, he does this many times. He will pretend to be a young kid to get put in a boys' shelter. And in this case, when they were questioning who he was, he would be smart and, you know, get put in a room by himself where he can look up, you know, missing kids and say he's that kid and be placed, or he will just get placed automatically into a family. In this case, it was the Barclay family. But what is really weird is everybody in the family, you know, accepted him in, right? Except for one family member. Can you guess what family member? Jason. You know, the brother that refused to go pick up Nicholas and then Nicholas went missing. The same family member who claimed Nicholas broke into the garage. Yeah, well, when he came over to see Nicholas, he didn't even look at him. All he did was tell him, he didn't shake his hand, he just said good luck. And that was it. That's, if anything in this is sus, that's sus. And then they started an investigation on the family because, you know, this isn't Nicholas. Why are you picking up a boy that's not Nicholas? Because it's obvious it's not. So where is he? Well, because of what Jason did, made him kind of the #1 suspect. He ends up taking his own life. So they couldn't interview him anymore. And I mean, he was unfortunately an addict, and so was Nicholas's mom. I need to put on mascara. Just give me 1 second. So now that he's been found out, Frederick ended up going to jail for 6 years for what he did. But nowadays, he is married with kids, and he still does his game where he pretends to be someone else to get affection. I just can't get over the ears thing. I mean, this man, Frederick, wouldn't give blood samples or fingerprint samples, but the ear. Huh. I guess you learn things every day, right? Now, let's talk about theories. Maybe the family did have something to do with it. Maybe Jason killed Nicholas and his mother helped cover it up because she lost one son and didn't want to lose another. I mean, that's possible. Because why would they go through that length of getting this Nicholas, Frederick, knowing, I mean, I have a brother, right? I have an older brother. And I'm not saying anything against Casey, right? But I'm going to know if I'm standing right next to my brother or if I'm not. So there's no way she did not know that that wasn't her brother. I mean, just look at these pictures. There's no way. You're telling me you didn't know that wasn't your brother. But, I mean, then again, the mom has stated that she believes Nicholas could have gotten in a car with somebody else. And that is also a big possibility. Nicholas, at that day and age, could have gotten in a vehicle with a stranger, and that stranger could have very well kidnapped him. Now, investigators have dug up the yard of that family home and have come across nothing. They've done searches and investigated areas and have came across nothing. Unfortunately, with their prime suspect no longer alive, and there's really no way of knowing what happened to Nicholas, unfortunately. Alright guys, here's my outfit. My wand, a mask so I can be safe giving out trick-or-treaters candy. So that's what it looks like. It'll be all the way on my face, don't worry, I'm not one of those. So, all the way on. And then my wand to go with my hat. And my witch dress. What do you guys think? Okay, so regardless of if the family did something or not, I hope they figure out what happened to Nicholas sooner rather than later, because no one should outlive their kids. Also, you guys let me know if you want to see more of this type of content. I'll post them twice a month on Tuesdays, because I think my family's getting tired of me blabbing to them about true crime cases. So, I like showing you guys all the different sides of me, and that'd be fun to have another place to talk about true crime. But that's up to you. If you guys don't want to see it, that's fine. It ain't gonna hurt my feelings. So, but again, go check out Barclay Sarian. I thank you for the inspiration for this video, and I hope you guys have a happy Halloween. Guys, get lots of candy. If you're young and you're not supposed to be watching this video, but if you found a way, or if you're dressing up like me to give out candy, I hope you guys have a fun night, and happy Halloween. So, and see you guys in the next one. Bye.